Welcome back to Love Grind. I'm Ebony, your host. Thanks for joining me tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about something that we really don't talk about a lot, but it does affect a lot of people. We're going to talk about love during incarceration. As you know, I had to just kill my time. I'm back now. There's not a lot of love in there, and there's not a lot of love when you come out. But we're going to talk about how it affects relationships because, this is Love Grind, right? Welcome back to where we talk about the real work of love, the grind, the beauty, and the heartbreak that comes with trying to stay connected in a complicated world. Welcome. Let's get right into it. Love during incarceration. According to research by Lydia Emery, Aaron Hughes, Caitlin Sheeran, nearly half of Americans have had a loved one incarcerated. That means millions of romantic relationships have been stretched, strained, or broken by the prison system. In this 2026 article titled How Incarceration Policy Affects Relationships, it lays out exactly how incarceration disrupts intimacy, not just emotionally, but structurally. And tonight, we're breaking it down. Let's get into it. The shock before the cell door closes. The damage to relationships doesn't start the day someone goes to prison. It starts before. Emery and her co-authors describe incarceration as a three-phase process. Pre-incarceration, then you got your incarceration, and then re-entry. And pre-incarceration, that phase is a storm. When a partner is arrested, couples face stuff like sudden financial pressure, right? Legal fees, court dates, job loss, stigma, like your wife's in jail, your husband's in jail, and fear about what comes next. Stress outside of a relationship, and that's what psychologists call external stressors, is one of the strongest predictors of relationship decline. And incarceration piles those stressors on fast. Many couples describe this phase as the moment the relationship begins to crack. And not because they didn't love one another, but because the system immediately destabilizes everything around them. Let's talk about love behind bars. And this is the heart of our episode tonight, the incarceration phase. Romantic relationships rely on touch, shared routines, intimacy, and everyday presence. Incarceration removes all of that. The article highlights how couples lose the basic building blocks of connection. Even when visits are allowed, they're limited, they're monitored, and often stressful. Some facilities restrict physical contact altogether. They do, it's like a Skype call. You're not even in the same room. Love becomes something you have to maintain without the physical closeness that normally sustains it. Let's get down to these communication barriers. This is one of the biggest themes in the research of the article. Communication during incarceration is expensive, it's limited, it's monitored, and often very unreliable. Phone calls can cost several dollars for just a few minutes, and video visits, when available, can cost even more. Emails sometimes cost per message. We don't even pay for emails in the free world. Imagine trying to maintain a relationship when every I miss you has a price tag. The authors point out that these costs disproportionately affect low-income families, meaning that people most likely to be impacted by incarceration are also the least able to afford connection. Then you got your visitation obstacles. Visitation, it's supposed to help families stay connected, but the policies have often made it nearly impossible to do that. Barriers include things like long travel distances and strict dress codes, invasive searches, limited visiting hours, and some cancellations. Like if there's a lockdown, you just don't get to see your loved one. They don't care how far you've traveled. And when prisons transfer people, sometimes hundreds of miles away, visitation becomes a logistical nightmare. The research shows that Many families describe visitation as emotionally draining rather than supportive. Let's talk about emotional strain, love bugs. This is where the human side hits the hardest. Couples report that they feel lonely and jealous. Fear of abandonment comes in there, guilt, and emotional distance. Some partners describe feeling married but single, living a life outside while trying to maintain a relationship with the person inside. The incarcerated partner often feels powerless and disconnected and worried about being forgotten. And the partner on the outside, well, they feel overwhelmed because life is happening and they feel unsupported and isolated. This article emphasizes that it doesn't just separate people physically, it separates them emotionally and psychologically. And yet, love survives. One of the most powerful findings from the article is that many couples do stay together, and those relationships can be incredibly strong. Partners who maintain connection often experience better mental health, stronger family stability, and lower risk of reoffending after release. Love becomes a protective factor, but the system makes that love work overtime. Gotta try extra hard. Reentry, the hardest phase. You'd think reentry, well, the moment someone comes home would be the easy part, but the research shows it's often the most stressful. Because you have housing barriers, even with fair chance housing laws, formerly incarcerated people struggle to find stable housing. Many couples end up living with family, couch surfing, or facing homelessness. I know I did. Unstable housing, unstable relationships. What about employment barriers? Ban the box laws help, but discrimination persists. Formerly incarcerated people face high unemployment rates, and financial strain hits relationships immediately. Then you have parole restrictions. Parole runs can limit where someone lives, who they can see, how far they can travel, and even how much time they spend with family. These restrictions can unintentionally undermine relationship rebuilding. It sure can. Emotional relearning. After months or years apart, couples have to relearn how to communicate, what each other's boundaries are, right? Routines, intimacy, and trust. Reentry is not a simple reunion. It's a reconstruction. So what needs to change? Let's talk about that. We argue that if we want stronger families and healthier communities, we need policies that support relationships instead of breaking them. We highlight affordable communications and human visitation practices, family-centered reentry programs, housing protections, employment support, reducing unnecessary prison transfers. Strong relationships reduce recidivism. They stabilize families. They improve mental health. Love shouldn't be collateral damage of incarceration. So in closing, love bugs, if you're loving someone through incarceration, I want you to hear this. You are doing something incredibly hard, and you are navigating a system not designed for love, and you deserve support, compassion, and community. The research shows that love can survive incarceration, but it shouldn't have to fight that hard. Thank you for listening to Love Grind. I'm Ebony. Stay loving one another, stay grinding, stay human, and until next time, I'm out.